So look, I'm 40 and single and recently got made redundant and found out I have to sell my flat. So with all that going on, I've decided I'm just going to start making really like bougie, romanticize my life style decisions. This one is for the single people, and I am here to advocate for a holiday boyfriend, a vacation boyfriend. And we both knew what the situation was going into it. He's from LA, I'm from London. How I wish I could go back and tell that version of me that you are kidding yourself. No, what you actually did was catch feels for the guy that you met on holiday. You then spent the last month daydreaming about the guy that you met on holiday and texting him way too much and making him feel uncomfortable even when he says that he wasn't. And then you just suggested that you could go back to LA and hang out with him for a bit because you just made redundant, because that's a sensible use of your time and your money, isn't it? And of course you weren't on the same page. Of course you weren't. I feel sick. I feel actually sick. I wish I'd never watched a Disney film in my life. I wish I had never seen Titanic. I've had 2 guys ghost me on Hinge this week. First one because I said I liked Marvel and DC and Harry Potter.
By the way, guys, I keep seeing that you send me messages saying what is up with all the women that I post and piercings, nose rings. So I did a little bit of searching and I found 10 studies that show high correlations between piercings, tattoo, and mental problems, risk-taking, trauma, childhood trauma. All the links to all the studies will be in the description of the video, guys.
And the second guy, I dared to ask if he would tell me some things about himself before I agreed to go on a date with him, because we'd only spoken about spaghetti. Hi friends, this is me just home from Pride. Life's been a bit mad recently. I found out in the same week that I not only have to sell my flat, but that I've been made redundant. And I took today off to do stuff and be a grown-up about that. But instead I've been dating everything. And quite honestly, if I am homeless and have no job in a month, it's Matthew Mercer's fault for making me fall in love with him.
The other day, my therapist was like, what gets you out of bed in the morning? And I was like, coffee. And she was like, no, what gets you out of bed in the morning? And I was like, coffee.
Don't take him out. Don't spend a dime. Don't spend a nickel. Don't spend a penny. Go somewhere that is free. And if she is unwilling to go there with you, don't go out with her.
A woman is like, tell me the truth. And then you tell them a truth, and they don't like that truth.
Of course.
And they get really upset about that truth. And as a woman, because we're motivated to not upset people, they actually think that if you know how upset I am about what's true for you, you will change what's true for you.
Y'all want to talk about men?
That's so stupid. That's so stupid.
And cheating. Let's talk about how feminism gave y'all a pass to cheat and play victim. Y'all love screaming, men ain't loyal. But as soon as y'all cheat, it's, oh, he wasn't meeting my emotional needs.
True.
Y'all cheat and call it healing. Y'all disrespect men and then call it setting boundaries. Feminism tells y'all to be strong, not sloppy. You're not a victim of his life. You're a product of your own lack of discipline. It's crazy to me. If a man cheats, he's a monster. But when y'all do it, it's empowerment. Nah, it's not healing. It's hypocrisy.
I went on a date with a guy last night who, mind you, is 36 years old.
Okay.
Who really prided himself on the fact that he did the work, and he really worked on himself, and he's in therapy and was using all the therapy language. And then I asked him why his last 3 relationships ended, and he said he cheated on all of them. Okay.
Do you know the difference though in getting the ick from someone and thinking someone's really nice is literally only whether you fancy them or not? It's just, say for example.
Yeah, guys, this is the only difference. A hot guy can do anything and she will say, oh, he's funny.
Well, there was someone and you were head over heels mad about them and you thought they were pure stun and you had yourself convinced this is the man for me, and he turned round and he confessed a poem to you and you're so dying about him that you're like, that is such a beautiful poem. Is this
Yeah, this is so romantic. And then another guy says the same thing and you say, oh my God, he's such a simp. What is this?
Shakespeare brought back to life? Wow. And like, I'm going to tell my friends about this. But if you thought the same guy was creepy, or you already had a vibe like I don't fancy, and he turned around and said a poem, you'd be like to your friends, where do you fucking hear he read a poem? Like, you would absolutely want to boke. And that is the only difference. Someone being a creep and someone being romantic is whether or not you fancy them.
Very true.
So true.
It's life trying to tell you that this isn't your person.
A man with money is expected to share, but a woman with money is told she doesn't need a man. Same income, totally different rules. Let me explain before you get mad. In our culture, men are taught from day one that if they're not earning, they're failing. If they can't provide, they're not real men. If they don't pick up the check, they're broke or stingy.
That's in every culture, ma'am.
A man's value is often reduced to his financial output. Now flip the script. When women become successful, we don't expect them to carry anybody. In fact, we celebrate it as a form of freedom. Yes, queen, you're independent. She doesn't need a man. He's expected to provide, but she's expected to escape. Because if we really want partnership, then we need to stop placing all the financial burden on one side while celebrating freedom on the other.
Y'all say every woman is beautiful, but then you turn around and say most men are ugly. Why is it that women get mad when ugly men approach them? Y'all bash women for dating men that y'all find unattractive. And
guys, they're lying. If you know a woman is ugly or she's overweight and you ask her girlfriends how hot she is and they tell you, oh, she's a 9, she's very hot, she's blah, blah, blah. Just say, okay, I think you're as beautiful as her, and see their reaction. If they're truly beautiful, they wouldn't mind when you compare them to them or compare them to Lizzo. Oh my God, you're so beautiful, you look like Lizzo. And see her reaction. And that will tell you if they're lying or not.
And y'all hate the idea of sharing a good-looking man. But y'all claim men and women are equal. But let me just break this down for y'all real quick. If the majority of men are ugly and y'all only want the attractive ones, that means most of y'all are gonna fight over the same man. Or you'll end up settling for ones you claim you don't want. Y'all can't keep screaming equality, then act like average or unattractive men don't deserve love too. Because if all women are beautiful, then so are all men, right?
Women often register their delusional relationship expectations as standards. But those ain't standards, baby. That's a fallacy, a fantasy wish list, because you've never lived like that. But you want a man to come in and give you something that you have yet to give yourself. So don't talk to me about how grown you is and how your standards are if your bills ain't on auto pay. When your bills are on auto pay, that's a different level of adulting.
Fairy tale Prince Charming doesn't exist. You're gonna have to compromise a little bit on certain things. So I'm just talking about priorities now. Yeah. Right? So far, you have been like covered in brands. Right? I that's what I noticed about you. Are you gonna expect your man to pay for all of your apparel? Because
Of course, because she's a princess.
he's gonna look at you and go, oh, can I provide for her? He's gonna wonder that too.
They have to provide for me and my family on a comfortable level. Does it have to be a luxury lifestyle? No, but I am used to nice things.
Compromising a little, is that in the future for you to compromise?
I don't feel like I should have to.
She doesn't feel like she has to. It's all about feelings. It's nothing logical, only feelings. If you see that your delusional standards keep you from finding a guy, and the years pass, and you're 30, and then you're 35, and you're still single, at what point do you understand that your standards are so delusional that they are preventing you from finding a man? Or do you never grow up?
Of course, I'm annoyed that Dolly and my mom want me to compromise with what I'm looking for. I mean, if I can provide this life for myself, then I feel like a guy should be able to as well.
Guys, just listen to her voice. Close your eyes and listen to her voice. Now think, how much would you stand being next to her while she's talking? Just close your eyes and listen to her voice.
A guy should be able to as well.
Who has
As well.
more delusional dating standards, men or women?
Women.
Women, I think. Women.
Why do you say women?
I think they're just a bit more picky. And yeah.
What about you?
I feel like it's not delusion, it's just that like the dudes don't match the standard. So like it seems like it's delusion, but it's just that women have higher standards.
So I went on this date and this guy tells me, "You look like you're low maintenance." And I was like, "What?"
I can see from the shine on your face, ma'am, from the light reflecting on your face, that you have 3 tons of makeup. 3 tons of makeup on, ma'am.
He's like, "Yeah, you
Just look at the shine on her forehead. You don't get that kind of shine naturally.
you look like you're low maintenance." I was like, "I have a little dog. Have you seen my little dog?" And he looks at me very confused. I'm like, "She's very high maintenance." But yeah, I wouldn't call myself as high maintenance as her. You know, she needs a lot of grooming, a lot of attention, a lot of things. But I'm definitely not low maintenance. And then he looked at me very, very, very confused, like, what did I get myself into? And I was like, I don't think any girl that looks as girly as me is low maintenance unless you like are dating like a man.
Ma'am, just look at the difference between your face, the shine from your face, and your neck.
And then he was like,
if women have more money and more independence as a result of that money and success and education, why don't they just date down? As in, why don't they date men that are broke?
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, we have inherited this mating psychology from our distant ancestors who were very much more reliant on men for things like provisioning, resource access, and even protection than what contemporary women need. And this is because throughout most of our evolutionary history, we spent our lives having to be pregnant regularly, lactating, caring for young children. And we're very heavily dependent on the ability of our partner to gain access to things like food and the other resources that we're not able to get access to when we are, very pregnant or dealing with young children. So
even if the woman wasn't pregnant or taking care of the kids, the men were going hunting, not the women.
Women historically have been very dependent on men for resources, and we've inherited that brain because over the course of evolutionary history, women who would have placed an emphasis on choosing partners who have these kinds of qualities, they would have been more likely to have surviving offspring who then passed that tendency or that preference onto their offspring, who'd pass that preference down to their offspring. Contemporary human women, even though we're able to gain access to resources of our own, we still have that preference, right? We've inherited that preference from our successful ancestors because women who had that preference would have performed better than women who didn't pay attention to that sort of thing.
Okay, so let's give this a try. I'm a single mum, and every so often
From the start, I can see that she's using a lot of filters. Just look at her eyes, her face. So many filters. But I bet she's looking for a good man. Where are all the good men? Of course.
I have a free weekend with no kids. I don't have any friends that want to go out, and I don't have any friends that like to go to clubs, bars, anything like that. They either tell me they've got no money, or they just don't want to go, or they'll plan to go with me, but they'll drop out last minute and cancel our plans. I'm sick of having wasted weekends doing fuck all. I want to go out and meet someone, but I can't if I've got no one to go out with. So if there are any single mums in my position, or just anyone that needs someone to go out with on a weekend that never gets a chance because their friends are a letdown, or
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster, ma'am. Single mothers going to clubs. Yeah, we're just going to skip this video.
Princess treatment I expect as a liberal woman. Number one, you're driving most places. I've had to drive myself around my whole life. It's my turn to be a passenger princess. You're driving most places.
She's over 30 or 40, and she still refers to her as a princess. Why would you want to be with a woman like this? Why? From the start, so many red flags, and she's a liberal.
I can help contribute to gas sometimes. I can offer to let you use my car. But for the most part, I'm the girl. I sit in the passenger seat.
But ma'am, you're a liberal. You're fighting for equality. So why does he have to do everything?
Number two, when it comes to ba-dum-bum-bump, if you're getting antsy, it doesn't mean I'm dropping pantsy. I pay attention to my body. I pay attention to what I want to do with it. No means no, not now means not now. Do take into consideration our relationship as well as gender roles, what men like. Keep that in mind. A no does mean no. And if that's a problem, you're a problem. Number three, princess treatment means I eat how I want to eat. If I want a double-double, I get a double-double. If I want a big meal, I get a big meal. There's no salad expectations. There's no dressing on the side expectations. I'm not.
So basically she wants to do whatever she wants and you have no say in it. But they all fight for equality. Just think about that.
I like to convince women that they're delusional for having standards.
Another woman that has pink hair talking about standards.
In dating because they don't want to fulfill the standards we have. I think it's one of those things.
Okay, so why aren't you a virgin? Because you don't want to fulfill our standards that we have. See, we can say the same things about you, ma'am. But we never thought about that. It's only about what you want, what you expect from men. Because you have a low IQ and because you can't view it from our point of view. It's always about you.
It's like, why do men want to date women in their 20s? Because women in their 20s don't have the standards that you might have when you enter your 30s and you're like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, ma'am, why would I want to deal with your standards and your delusions and your expectations and your entitlement? Why? If I can get a woman in her 20s. Why? The only men that want to date you are the men that can't choose a woman in her 20s, that have no options. So how are you special when only men with no options want to date you?
Shit again. Because once you enter your 30s and you're entering this like new era of dating, because you're starting to look around and see like, okay, so for the last 10 years, I've been dating with no real sets of standards, no real needs, no real boundaries. And what has it gotten me? A bunch of men that don't want to provide anything for me, that don't want to meet my needs, that don't want to provide for me emotionally, like that aren't really committed, that don't really want what I want, that don't share my values, that can't satisfy me in the bedroom. Like you look around, you're like, that's happened enough times that I see that not having any standards ain't gonna give me what I want. And
okay, ma'am, so are you saying that now that you're over 30, you're smarter and you know what you want? How come you have pink hair, ma'am? See, you didn't grow up, ma'am.
And it's interesting, right? Because it always seems to me that the reaction to a woman setting some standards for herself in her life is men coming out and saying like, you're too much, you're mid. Like,
do you understand that you having standards is the same with us having standards? So our standards is not dating women in their 30s. This is our standard. So why don't you understand what we want? Why? Oh, because you can't provide what we want. So we can say the same things. We're just going to skip this video because this woman is clear she has nothing good to say, and it's clear she just hates men because she chose a lot of bad men, a lot of toxic men that just slept with her and ghosted her.
So I figured we'd talk about this today. No one talks about how painfully boring the nice guy is after surviving a toxic man. So to her credit, she's trying to understand what's going on. This guy over here is a red flag. He's toxic, treats me terribly. I survived that. Okay, now I'm going to go towards this guy over here, but it's boring.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's label this guy more. Okay, nice guy. Don't like the term, so we'll say good man. creates a wonderful, safe, comfortable environment for you to express yourself. And when there's issues, there's communication there. No really blowing up at you, no big arguments, no demeaning you, no calling you names or anything like that. Loves you and accepts you for who you are, desires you, and does the best they can for you. Peace, right? Like a great, nice, healthy relationship. Why would anyone label that as boring? It's because there are people that are addicted to things, and it's not just about drugs and alcohol. People can be addicted to a lot of things. And some women like that, they are addicted to being put on an emotional roller coaster, a massive guessing game.
They're addicted to drama.
Are we going to be together? Or do you love me? Do you not? There's times I feel like you love me and you express it well, but there's times like you treat me like shit and I shouldn't be accepting this, but I am.
Guys, why do you think at some point soap operas were so popular? Because they weren't popular with men. They were popular with women. Why? Why, guys? Just think about it. Because of the drama. And now it's Love Island. It's shows like Love Island.
I am, because I know like we used to be good, and I'm just waiting for us to get back to that love, the relationship we had in the beginning. But it's just like, you know, like it's this big old guessing game, you know, to where she's got to work for love or do this or do that. And it's this big old roller coaster of highs and lows, and we love each other, but we hate each other and all that. She's addicted to that, addicted to chaotic environments.
Hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.